fight or we die.
We should get to the Normandy.
Mass Effect 3 is quite possibly the most divisive installment within the franchise. After waiting nearly 5 years, Commander Shepard's story was finally coming to a conclusion. Now, I've just played through the trilogy in Mass Effect's Legendary Edition, and in this video, I am setting out to see just where Mass Effect 3 fits into the ranking of the OG trilogy. But the main question I am asking myself is, now that some time has passed since its initial release, should Mass Effect 3 still be viewed the same way it was back in 2012? Yes, of course I will be going over some of the more controversial matters surrounding this game, including the ending. Currently, my ranking of the franchise looks like this. At number 1, Mass Effect 2, and at number 2, Mass Effect. Feel free to skip ahead in this review using the video chapters below. Now, before I get into the game, if you like watching me play through entire video game franchises and ranking the games along the way, then I invite you to head over to my channel, Tresnator, and subscribe. And if you want to watch me play in real time, then you can catch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Tresnator. All streams are in glorious ultra-wide 21:9, so there's nothing blocking the gameplay. Now, enough of all that, let's get on with the review. Mass Effect 3 was released on March 6th, 2012 for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC. It was re-released with the improved visuals on May 14th, 2021 for the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which is what I will be reviewing today. Mass Effect 3 was developed by BioWare, with Casey Hudson returning to direct the third entry. Mac Walters returned from Mass Effect 2 to pen the story. Unfortunately, lead writer of Mass Effect 1 and 2, Drew Karpyshyn, exited the project for the opportunity to work on Star Wars: The Old Republic. According to Wikipedia, because Mass Effect 3 was designed for consoles that were nearing the end of their lifespans, BioWare focused on optimizing gameplay and storytelling rather than pushing the technology forward. Like previous installments, the storyline continues to be the main focal point that drives Mass Effect 3. BioWare set out to make Mass Effect 3 more user-friendly for new players, something that BioWare felt they had did a bad job of in Mass Effect 2. I'm going to take a deeper dive into the story now, so viewer beware, there may be some spoilers ahead. The story kicks off 6 months after Mass Effect 2. Shepard has been relieved of his or her duty and is awaiting court-martial by the Systems Alliance for destroying a mass relay that killed nearly 300,000 Batarians, in an attempt to delay the Reaper arrival. Shepard's crew has been disbanded for the time being and are spread out across the galaxy yet again. The Reapers waste no time in invading the planet, and Earth quickly becomes overwhelmed by Reaper forces. Admiral David Anderson reinstates Shepard, and Admiral Hackett orders him to Mars, while Anderson stays behind to rally the troops against the invasion. On Mars, Shepard learns from Liara T'Soni that a Prothean superweapon nicknamed the Crucible might hold the key to destroying the Reapers. Shepard recovers the schematics from the Elusive Man, and the Systems Alliance begins construction on the device. Soon after, it is revealed that the Reaper invasion is a galaxy-wide event being felt by all other advanced species within the Milky Way. Shepard embarks on a journey to assemble his crew and bring together the races of the galaxy any way he or she can to stop the Reapers. While this is the main plot of the game, there are a number of important subplots, some of which were developed long before the events of Mass Effect 1. The Krogan are fighting to cure the genophage, a genetic mutation that has rendered the entire species infertile for hundreds of years. The Quarians are on a quest to retake their homeworld from the Geth, an AI race created by the Quarians long ago. And Cerberus, the human supremacist organization that allied with Shepard in Mass Effect 2, are experimenting with ways to control the Reapers rather than eradicate them. Throughout the game, Shepard is forced to make tough decisions between two groups that may result in one group joining his cause and the other rejecting. Mass Effect 3 tries to leave no loose ends and ties up almost all the conflict we've seen throughout the series thus far. On an emotional level, Mass Effect 3 definitely surpasses its predecessors. It might be nearly impossible to save everyone from death in Mass Effect 3. Over the course of these 3 games, you've made connections with these characters, and the game does a great job of making you really care about them. There are a bunch of potential goodbye scenes, some expected, some unexpected, that are sure to leave you whimpering throughout your playthrough. On a positive note, the ones that do survive can all be invited to your Citadel apartment for one last party before going on your final mission. Partying with all of your favorite companions is easily one of the best DLCs in gaming, as far as I'm concerned. The character development throughout the series has been nothing short of incredible, and it doesn't stop in Mass Effect 3. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Mass Effect 3's ending is often considered one of the most controversial endings in video game history. Players felt like the ending didn't meet their expectations. Some major grievances included the lack of a boss fight and having all of the endings be strikingly similar. At the game's climax, Shepard is met by an AI who reveals the history of the Reaper cycle to him or her. I thought this point was very well done, and honestly, at this point in the game, the story hit so many highs and the atmospheres felt so epic that I didn't mind the exclusion of a boss battle. But then came the time to choose. Shepard is presented with 3 different scenarios. Shepard could control the Reapers as, I guess, a spirit or a ghost. It's kind of unclear on this one, but basically, he or she would become the Reaper king or queen, transcend his or her physical form, and live forever controlling them to his or her own will. He could choose to destroy the Reapers, which would also result in the destruction of all synthetic life throughout the galaxy. Because Shepard too has some synthetics keeping him alive, he too would perish. Or, what is considered to be the quote-unquote best ending, Shepard could combine organics and synthetics, giving everyone green glowing eyes and neon tattoos as they live in harmony. Also, I kind of feel like this gives everyone a hive mind, and I don't know if that's technically a good ending or not. Yeah, these endings aren't great. After some criticism from fans, BioWare released a free DLC pack a few months after the game's initial release. The DLC expanded the game's ending to provide more context, but it still felt kind of lacking. So what did I choose? Well, at the time I felt the combined ending would make the most sense for my Paragon Commander Shepard, and initially I thought it would be the canon ending, as you need to have a certain level of readiness to unlock this ending. But after some thought, I believe Destroy to be the actual canon ending, but that analysis is for a different video. Overall, I do feel the endings are kind of a letdown, especially since you get to choose your own ending regardless of how you played through the trilogy. This by no means ruins the game for me though, as some people have suggested in the past. And this might be a hot take, but I think the Destroy ending is actually pretty satisfying. And before you feel compelled to comment something like, my Shepard would never kill millions of lives, my Paragon Shepard wouldn't do this, this is the same person who blew up a mass relay to stop the Reapers, which resulted in 300,000 dead Batarians. So yeah, it kind of tracks. This section might be a little short. Overall, there wasn't any huge differences between this and Mass Effect 2 Legendary. The visuals still looked just fine. Similar to Mass Effect 1 and 2, I still noticed some weird glitches, like characters' hands hovering above their laps or not making contact with their head when talking into their earpieces. That googly-eyed effect from previous games was still there too. I'm pretty forgiving for these though, because it's still running on a game engine that is over a decade old. All in all, the game looks just fine to me. Mass Effect 3 strived to improve combat and make it one of the best shooters on the market, and I'm sure that rang true back in 2012. Nowadays, it does feel a little dated, but overall it still holds up. One of the first things I noticed was how much more fluid and responsive Mass Effect 3 was coming off of Mass Effect 2. Of the original trilogy, this one takes the gameplay award hands down. BioWare also improved enemy animations and diversity and included special enemies that would require different tactics to take down. They made great use of environmental changes, such as sudden changes in scenery or the use of mounted weapons for certain missions. This results in the game being less predictable and offers more mission variety in comparison to the first 2 entries. The game tried to bring back weapon attachments similar to Mass Effect 1 that would allow the player to customize their own weapons, but honestly, I don't think these are vital to combat. I found myself picking and sticking with my attachments from early in the game throughout. I found what I thought to be the best weapons and upgraded them to max, and I rarely changed them. And when I did change weapons, it didn't seem to make that much of an impact. A new skill tree for abilities was introduced, which allows players to choose how to upgrade their characters and squad mates' abilities. For example, you may want to opt for an ability that hits multiple enemies with less damage, or maybe you'd rather have a concentrated, high damaging attack. It's all up to how you want to play. The inclusion of all these upgrades squashed the combat in Mass Effect 1 and 2. That being said, the game is still a duck and cover shooter, and I did find times where I would accidentally jump over cover or get caught in a corner or something like that when trying to escape an enemy. I'll blame the dated game engine on this. I am interested to see how the combat holds up in my next video when I review Mass Effect Andromeda. Choosing dialogue options is still the game's bread and butter. Mass Effect 3 has over 40,000 lines of dialogue recorded, doubling the initial 20,000 seen in Mass Effect 1. And for those who are curious, Mass Effect 2 had 25,000. Now this is partly because we are introduced to so many characters throughout the 3 games, most of which make an impact in Mass Effect 3. I find it pretty amazing that the team at BioWare was able to account for every outcome and interaction from previous games and continue to move your own story forward. I've rarely seen something like this accomplished by any other video game, even with today's standards. Finally, the game has a heavy focus on recruiting war assets to raise your readiness score for the last mission. Completing the last mission with a low readiness score can result in serious consequences for your team, and also won't allow you to unlock the third Combine ending. This gave me a similar feeling I had when I became a Spectre in Mass Effect 1. I felt like I needed to recruit an army to fight the Reapers, and I wanted to sway as many people and assets as I could for the final fight. Alright, I've done enough talking, so now it's time to rank it up against the rest of the OG trilogy. Initially, when I came into the playthrough, I thought Mass Effect 3 would be on the bottom for sure, and boy, I was wrong. I had a blast with Mass Effect 3. It was a lot better than I remember it being. I'm going to put this over Mass Effect 1, so now the question is it better than Mass Effect 2? It's so close for me that it's almost too close to call. It was a real treat to see almost every squad mate return throughout Mass Effect 3 and see how they've grown in their own stories. Sure, the ending wasn't the best, but I don't think it retracts from all of the great things that this game provides. That being said, I think Mass Effect 2 still edges out Mass Effect 3 by just a smidge. I still believe the final mission in Mass Effect 2 to be the best in the series, and the entire story for that game was something very unexpected. So my new ranking for the Mass Effect franchise goes as follows. Number 1, Mass Effect 2. Number 2, Mass Effect 3. And number 3, Mass Effect. Join me next time as I play through and review Mass Effect Andromeda. I haven't picked up this game since its release in 2017, and I'm excited to see if this one surprises me the way that Mass Effect 3 did. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, it would mean a great deal to me if you could give it a big thumbs up. Please leave your review or comments about Mass Effect 3 in the comments section below, and I will be sure to get back to you. If you like watching me rank and review game franchises, then head on over to my channel Tresnator and subscribe. And if you'd like to see me play through other game franchises in real time, then head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/Tresnator. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time.